Cracking, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today is gonna be sort of a taboo topic, man. I'm gonna talk about something that you don't really ever hear about. You know, it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge, right? And I guess it's inspired by all these cats that like to talk a lot of stuff, but they don't know what they're talking about. And anyone who's been behind the walls, you're going to hear this and you're going to know it's facts. And it's an ugly secret. But it's not really a secret in there. Out here, you know, people get caught up in mythology, fairy tales, folklore. So, I'm gonna ask you right now, are there rats on GP yards? Is there snitch activity going on GP yards? Come on now. You know the answer. Let me tell you a quick little story. So 1 year for Cinco de Mayo, I told the story, right? I believe it was 2004. And I've told this story, and I'm gonna just briefly touch on it. We're not gonna get into all the details and all that. On Cinco de Mayo, we hit two dudes simultaneously, okay? And the administration got upset that two dudes were hit at the same time. And I think there was also the damage that was done because the cops initially only noticed one, and it was the one that people wanted them to notice. And the other one lasted longer, which is the one that people wanted to last longer. And the administration was pretty pissed off at the raza. And so next thing you know, about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, I don't remember how long it was, a specific and very well-known CO appears on the yard. He called himself Zap, so that's what I'm going to call him. He had been moved to transportation, but after Cinco de Mayo, according to him, this is what he told me. He came up to me. He had been watching me for 2 weeks before he even approached me, and I had been watching him because I knew who he was. I had never been around him, but I heard his name in Pelican Bay. How fucked up, how scandalous he was. And so he finally approaches me. And he tells me, I know who you are, this and this and that. I said, I'm nobody. You don't know who I am. You think you know who I am. You don't know who I am. And he said, look, that thing that happened on Cinco de Mayo, you guys really embarrassed the administration. So they sent me here to get you. He said, I'm going to let you know I'm on your ass now. He said, and I also want you to know this, that every time somebody gets hit on this yard, I've gone with them. I was transportation. I got in the ambulance with them. He said, and every one of them ate a block of queso this big with your name on it. He said, I know who you are. I said, you don't know who I am. And so the cat and mouse began with me and him. He was a piece of shit. I can tell you that, and I believe I told this story before. There was a time when there was an incident that occurred, or an occurrence, whatever you want to say, where the porters were let out in the morning. And one of the homies was a porter. And he happened to see, he looked in, because he's smart. He looked into the fucking CO's office in the morning before the COs had even opened their door. And he saw a huila on the floor. So when the Juras entered the office, they didn't see it. They went into the office to go sit down. He stepped in with them and he stepped on it. He was able to drag it out. And he shot it to us. And in the huila, somebody wrote, you have to roll up so-and-so for their own safety because they owe a drug debt. If you don't get them out of here, they're going to get killed or hurt very bad. Something along those lines, right? So I read the huila. The other individuals that needed to read the huila, they read the huila. The kite, by the way, huila is a note, a kite. And then we sat down to discuss what's going to happen next. And I told them, we're going to do a birthday card. Have the homie so-and-so drop a birthday card right now. Tell them, send word in there right now. We need a card. Doesn't have to be the best, but I need a card today. And every one of the homies in there needs to sign that card. And so through that card, we were able to figure out who wrote the huila. And he was dealt with. There are dudes dropping kites, dropping huilas every fucking day on the GP yard. And dudes are doing business with them because they don't know. But think about it. All these dudes that talk all that high power shit that have never been to prison, you're the only ones that talk that shit in the comments, on your YouTube channels, on your social media, on your TikTok, whatever it is. Those of you that never been there talk the most shit because you don't have common sense. That's why they say common sense ain't all that common anymore, man. What do you think? The yard, the GP yard, that's where all the motherfucking criminality's at. Anybody, look at Holmes. I'm going to give some advice to anybody who's entering the system right now and you might have action at the bag and you want to get in the dope game in prison. It's a lot different now. Now that everybody's out there, it's a lot different than when I was doing it. But let me tell you something. You will get told on because they don't want to pay you. And you won't know which one's telling, but you're going to get told on. If you let somebody use your cell phone, hey, homie, hey, that feria I owe you? Hey, man, let me use your phone real quick so I can tell them to send it because I don't want to get on this other phone, whatever. Yeah, they give that phone number to the Juras. And the Juras, as soon as they have the phone number, they can listen to every phone call. They can read every text. Oh, nah, they can't crack this one, Holmes. This one was... The feds make those damn things. I crack up when I hear about those say, hey, these ones, they can't hack into these ones. Right. Why? Because they said so? I had a dude that was my cellie. I told a story about him already. I saved his life on the yard. They wanted to kill him. I got it to where him and his cellie had to kick in money and dope. And then he told me, you're the only one I trust. I know everybody else will still plot on me. Can I move in with you? I said, come on. Really, the advice I told him, you stay with that dude. Your cellie threw you under the bus. Don't ever leave that cell. Make him leave the cell. I said, but if you want to come, you can come. And he came to my cell. His younger brother got killed out there in the SGV. And he tells me, anybody from that water gets here, I'm going to hit him. I said, you can't. And you can't tell me that either. You can't just whack them. If they're not involved, that's gangbanging. There's no gangbanging allowed. If they were involved, then you tell them, hey, I got a personal, that was my brother, and you let him strap up and you strap up. Come on, now we're men. But his little brother, I get it. You know, he was hurt. It was eating at him. I didn't like the person he was becoming. And I knew that if he stayed in the cell, I was going to wind up having to stab him. And I knew he had got done dirty on the first thing where he had to kick in dope and money. And I knew he was hurting for his brother, so I moved him next door. And what did he do? He wigged out on meth, took off on his celly during count time in the middle of the night, and then told the Juras, told Zap, I almost said his real name, told Zap, there's 2 bone crushers that they have. If you search this one cell, you'll find 8 pieces in there. 2 of them are bone crushers and they're for you. And he told the Jura that I had got a green light on him and I was going to have him killed. These fucking dudes didn't get the pieces out of the cell. Them pieces got caught. And there it was again. There's Zap again. Now he's paranoid. But when he locked up, I got a phone call on my cell phone. And I'm the same way to this day. You call me and I don't know your number, that's going to voicemail. I'm going to find out who you are. Leave a voicemail. You don't want to leave a voicemail? I don't need to know who you are. I sent that to voicemail on my cell phone. I listened to it and it said, hey, I'm so-and-so's primo. What happened, Holmes? This and that. It's a fucking Jura. After that, I didn't conduct business on my cell phone no more. I did it through visiting. I believe, and I've said this for years, every single cell phone behind those walls is tapped. You think these Juras are letting you guys get phones and not knowing what's going on? You think vatos ain't, even if you get a clean phone, clean? You think one of these vatos that's around you, that's scared of you, hasn't gave up that phone number? It's all they need. All they need is a phone number. And then they can make a clone. They can clone your phone. Every time your phone rings, that one that they cloned, it rings too. Every phone call they get to listen to. Every text they're reading. I hate to burst your myth, but it's important that people understand and listen. The dudes that are still living that life, that are still gangster with it, they don't give a fuck. What the fuck are the cops gonna do to them? Give them 10 more years on top of their double life sentence? Not let them go home when they already weren't doing anything to go home in the first place? Man, they're gangsters. But those of you that have a half-hearted hope of being a gangster, stop it. Stop it. Make a YouTube channel and talk shit about me and Gunner. They're better off. Because the realities of that world, the realities of what really goes on, it's a motherfucker. Your own homies telling on you. You having to whack your own homies. Or your own homies politicking on you, trying to whack you. It's a cold game, man. Most ain't built for it. That's my video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.